Rap Life. Oh, y'all not ready to do Rap Life?
No, you didn't even say anything.
How much time y'all need, bro? We
You
do
didn't
this
say
every
nothing.
week. Yo, you see what I have to deal with?
Sir, carry
Yo,
on.
Eddie's ready?
Bro,
That was a cold start, though.
Thank
Like,
you.
that
Like,
came out
I'm
of
not-
nowhere.
I
You
ain't
wasn't
bugging.
ready
Her
neither?
back.
I'm ready. Let's go. What we talking about?
Oh, listen, there's a lot to talk about. Nicki Minaj is in the news for a couple of reasons. You also have the Diddy case, which I don't know if we expected it to go last week, but we have been watching this unfold for several weeks and we didn't know where it was going. But now the Southern District of New York and all of the allegations and the unsealing of the indictment all took place, so we got to cover those things. Future has a new mixtape. Where would you guys like to start? Because there's a lot. Especially in the Diddy part. You guys want to dig into this Diddy thing?
we can start. You want to start there?
We want to start there?
I mean, it's
Is there
it's a
anything
heavy
else?
lift.
Yeah.
It's a heavy
Let's
lift.
ease in. You didn't even let me have a sip of water before we started.
Sorry. It's a lot to deal with.
start.
So it's the United States of America versus Sean Combs.
Yes.
Here's what we know. 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. 1 count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison and a mandatory minimum of 15 years in prison. 1 count of transportation for purposes of prostitution, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. Prosecutors allege from 2008 through the present, Combs led a criminal enterprise that existed to facilitate his abuse and exploitation of women to protect his reputation and conceal his conduct. Mm-hmm. It seems pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. And then you have Cassie's case. You have all the rumors that people have heard, but now we have substantiated evidence. And there's a lot. We'll go out to L.A. Eddie, as you saw this unravel last week, any thoughts?
It's dark. These are topics that are difficult to discuss because of all the allegations that are taking place. And it takes a lot of ugly turns online because everyone turns into a lawyer or everyone turns into a defendant, or people want to speak about things they barely understand or grasp. But as you go through the things you just read and you kind of have a better understanding of what allegedly took place until he goes to trial and we can say he's guilty or not guilty, it's bad. And one thing I don't want to do is, because, we have an emotional attachment to Diddy through his persona, through his music. This one, I just kind of got to take a step back. Like, I don't know that man, and I don't know what he's capable of. And we've heard stories throughout the years, and there's allegations and there's rumors. There's people that want to get baby oil jokes off. There's people that want to make skits. Then there's the whole misogyny part of it, where anytime stories of women and abuse gets brought up, there's people that instantly run to the male side. And there becomes this dialogue of like, why do you want to see a man get locked up? And then a lot of it becomes people don't want equality. They want the same privilege of the oppressor. And it becomes this whole, well, this person got away with it, da-da-da-da. But as we go through this case and we try to have these discussions, I would implore people to think outside of yourself for a moment, man. Stop placing yourself into the person that has an attachment to P. Diddy, or projecting your own particular issues or circumstances you've been through this case. If any of this stuff is even close to true, you don't got no business defending it, bruh. And it's okay not to have an opinion about certain things.
Yeah, but people who don't work in our industry, or any industry for that matter, if you're not in politics, you're not in entertainment, whether it was the Epstein thing or the Weinstein thing or the P. Diddy thing, they don't know. They think we're all buddy hanging out. They don't know we're just like colleagues and coworkers, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because you interviewed someone, you automatically know what their personal life in detail is actually about. There's people even in our regular everyday lives, right, whom we know have been through things. They don't necessarily want to prosecute the individual that assaulted them. I have family members that have divulged things to me and are like, yeah, but that's not what I want. I don't want you to say anything. I don't. And so I think similarly now a lot is coming out because people held secrets. For whatever reason, because they were afraid for their lives. Mm-hmm. Clearly, this Diddy was moving around on some mob shit, on some intimidation shit.
He blew up Kid Cudi's car.
Allegedly.
No, that's not alleged.
No, Cudi said it.
No, Kid Cudi said it.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to.
No.
It was in a court document.
There's certain shit in here that's not
an
allegation anymore. It's like substantiated claims. Like lawyers have said, yes, that happened. You know what I mean? Clearly, Kid Cudi didn't want to take it farther at the time into whatever it was going to be. But, you know, or the video that we just recently saw of the Cassie hotel room shit.
Yeah.
Now, there's also in these home raids in Miami and LA where they got thousands of hours of what was going on at these parties.
Surveillance footage from computers, cell phones, cameras, all that stuff.
So I'm sure at some point all of this stuff, unless they're protecting people or whatever it's going to be, will be made public.
Right. And probably even, so if this is going to go to trial now, I know his team tried to put up, $50 million in bond, like try to put up the equity in his mansion against it. But I think witness intimidation and witness tampering is what everyone was really scared of.
Weinstein and Epstein are the bar. That Weinstein and Epstein didn't get bail. Epstein killed himself in prison. He was in jail being held to go to jail.
Can we do this though? Killed himself. But continue.
Sure.
Killed himself.
But Weinstein, same thing. When his shit was started happening, he didn't get bail.
Yeah.
So
Puff was denied bail twice.
Yeah, whatever it is. But all I'm saying is there's precedent for them. And with Puff, he was contacting the lady from Dirty Money.
Exactly.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, my man, you've been contacting witnesses.
Exactly. And so that's my point. I feel like over the years, a lot of people, for whatever reasons, have been scared to speak up if they thought nobody would listen because we were buying into the persona.
Right.
If it was intimidation, bullying, you were literally scared for your life. Now that he's actually behind bars, I'm just curious between now and when this goes to trial, if a lot more people are going to feel compelled to speak up now. Like we're going to get even more evidence.
I hope so. I mean, I think, you know, this is one of those, what do they call it, a watershed moment.
Yeah.
Right? Where people can now speak their truth if they're so compelled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe everyone won't want to, or maybe, you know, but this has been playing out now, if we look at the timeline, since November of last year. This don't happen quick. First of all, the feds, according to what I read, the Southern District of New York has like a 97% conviction rate.
Yeah. Like that's the thing that people understand about, like, once you're facing these federal charges,
That 98%, that goes across the board. So
the cases have been mounting against you for years. Like, they pretty much know what the deal is by the time they bring these charges up, and you can pretty much assume it's going to be a wrap. And then also too, as we watch this unfold, just on an empathetic level, be considerate, man. Like, what you say and how you respond to cases like this, kind of like what I was saying earlier, and how you project. Women in this world, bruh, they are facing sexual assault way more than we can even fathom or understand. And how you respond to this is a window into your own soul.
Another thing I found really interesting, when they arrested Puff the other day, they found bags of ecstasy.
And that ketamine and all that.
Whatever, drugs.
Yeah.
If Puff knew that he was going to get arrested, why did he have all of that in his hotel room or whatever, where he was staying?
It could be a two thing. It could be how everybody speaks about him being lawless and him not giving a fuck and him not caring about the law or him not caring about anybody around him, telling him like, hey, that's not the right move to do, or you probably shouldn't have that shit, because that's clearly how he's been carrying himself.
Well, that's addict behavior, right? And so then I read an article that's like, basically they're putting in him, I read an article that he's on suicide watch. I read an article that he's in some addict treatment, whatever, which I'm sure will be a part of this whole story arc, right? Which will be how addicted he was to drugs, whatever shit he's been going through, dealing with. Doesn't excuse any of the behavior,
right.
But I don't know his criminal history, but I'm sure there's the defense, his attorneys are gonna try to use that to hopefully mitigate some of these life sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, because so far the things they're saying are a little bit nuts. Diddy's a religious man. He watches a sermon each day, and he was an altar boy as a child. Like, what does that have to do with
That has nothing to do with anything.
The horrible person you've been for the past, 2 decades? And then they tried to also say that his relationship with Cassie, that's really the issue here. That was a consensual relationship, and infidelity fractured the issue, and now we're turning it into this long, drawn-out thing. Yeah, so far the defense is it's weak.
But they're going to try all
minimum.
types of, I mean, that's
their job.
It's their job,
that's
of
what
course.
They're going to try to do. They're going to try all types of shit. I think, too, and Eddie, I hear you with everything you're talking about with people conducting themselves in a more mature fashion as it pertains to the victims in this case. Unfortunately, I think you're talking about the internet. So I don't see the internet not
being
cracking jokes about 1,000 bottles of oil in somebody's house.
Which unfortunately is the focal point.
Because I also said on Twitter, 1,000 bottles of anything in someone's house who's not running a business out of their house, you got a problem.
My boy,
Matter of fact, if you had $1,000, if you had 1,000 bottles of barbecue sauce in your house, I'd be like, yo, my man.
Listen, no.
What are you into, dog?
If you told me you had 100, if you said 100, hey, look, man, you got 100 bottles of baby oil, I'd be like, damn, dog, why you need 100? 100 is kind of a lot. Like, envision 100 bottles. He had 1,000, fam. That's insane behavior.
I mean, and I gotta say, I don't even know if they counted to 1,000.
Like, I mean, I don't know why.
Like,
why is that important? Just
I think it's important
why is it important? Like, who gives it? Like, of all the shit we read, like, why is like?
Because I think what they're trying to build is the fact that this was an operation.
The baby oil operation?
A criminal enterprise,
No, a criminal enterprise to create these parties,
right? Okay.
Right, and because remember, I think it's important to discuss. Adults, consensual adults, deciding to go to whatever sex parties they want to go to, that's not a crime.
No.
Drugging, forcing, intimidating, making people, holding their employment or their record contracts or the payment of said contracts over their heads if they don't participate
is a crime.
And transporting people against their will for the purpose of participating is a crime.
Right.
So I think, look, jokingly, we got caught up in 1,000 bottles just because it sounds nuts. Wild.
Yeah.
But I think the piece they're trying to build is that this was a criminal operation. So much so
intent.
that they had prepared oil.
And that's why, like, I know.
To make sure it went
I get it.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, like, stop getting hung up on he just a man having a freak off. Like, fucking read, guys. It's all there for
once
you.
Again, Eddie, you see what you're doing? You see what you just did? The expectation that people on the internet are going to read. Another fail, sir.
What I say before.
Another fail.
What I said before. Like, it's
I want to believe, dog.
Do not read.
Listen.
They don't comprehend. They don't. Yeah, 1 + 1 don't equal 2,
bro.
Like,
And by the way, I hate to generalize. It's not everybody on the internet. We have some people watching right now who leave great comments.
It's mostly y'all.
It's too many. Let's go with too many.
It's too many. It's too many, man. It's too many.
So I think look, we're going to be watching this play out, and there's going to be new breaking news and new headlines. So this is just the instant reaction or the most recent reaction to what we found out last week. Did we leave anything on the table?
I want to say this, and I'm just going to, this is going to be how I'm going to end it for me.
Okay.
I don't care who's involved. If I got to lose my favorites, and I've always said this, if this is what you're doing and you are misusing people, sexually assaulting, you're doing it, everybody can go that's involved. I don't care, bruh. I am not hung up on my relationship with famous people, fame, music, art.
Well,
if
I
this
think
is
it's
the
important that you articulate too, and it's, most of us, I think we've said this on this program. We don't really know these people, bro. They entertain us. They make content. That's entertaining. You don't really know these people like that, fam.
We don't have relationships. We don't have friendships. We don't have.
You know what I'm saying? You don't unless you were in one of these, intimate relationships, which most of us are not. You don't know these people. We don't know what they do when they go to bed at night. We don't know what they do on their private time, and so
I love everybody can go. I'm with you, Eddie.
Everybody can go.
I'm over it.
Like,
I'm over
bro,
all
like,
these
what
people. I'm done. I have no more heroes. I have no more idols. I look up to nobody. I'm done. I'm over it.
All of them?
What's the point,
Bro,
man?
like, since this show has started, we've lost a lot of our heroes. Or we've seen our heroes in a lot of different light.
Don't sit there and try to act innocent.
No, I haven't. I didn't lose Andre 3000. I love Andre 3000. I didn't lose Nas.
Right.
Well, he was on stage playing the flute.
I mean, Lauryn Hill is, hit and miss with the being on time thing.
Yeah, you're right. We need some.
She's not like.
I'm just saying, no, I'm not saying, okay, loss is a.
We need some flutes right now.
I'm being honest.
We've seen our heroes in a different light since this show has started. I'll say that.
Yeah.
There's been.
I don't know. Look, I like Diddy. Diddy was never my hero.
What does this do for just the music itself?
I think here's the real thing. Diddy as a rapper and as an artist, I don't know anybody in hip hop that was like, yeah, Diddy's my favorite artist.
Nobody.
I've never met you before. Maybe there was a person who's like, nah, Diddy as an artist, that's my dead
Nobody.
nice.
Nobody.
Diddy as a producer, as a marketer, as a persona, that was the thing. Like the ideas guy, the energy dude, like putting records together. That was the thing. There's no one, I don't know anybody that was like, nah, when Diddy spit that on that verse on
All about the Benjamins.
Diddy. It's not a thing.
That wasn't my.
I know that wasn't, but I'm just saying,
No,
like, I don't think,
that
my
wasn't-
point is being, I don't think anybody's gonna, like, I don't know, whatever Diddy records you liked as him as an artist,
Yeah.
people may still enjoy those, or his verse comes on Benjamin's.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, dog.
I'm just saying, like,
listen.
I bring that up because, like, there have been conversations that have been had, like, yo, there's a thing where I'm like, okay, there's a gray area where how do I feel about this
I think
person?
it's up to, what Eddie said, it's up to the individual.
Yeah, no, I was just asking.
I think you might be at an event and you hear that ad lib, take that, take that, take that. Everybody gonna be like, yo, hey, yo.
Hey.
what you hear on every fucking record, but
You definitely gonna hit an Ayo. Rap Life Review, the episodes you can't afford to miss. Nicki Minaj is on the socials. Why is that funny?
Y'all good?
We needed that
Y'all good?
transition. Thank you.
No problem. Nicki Minaj, heavy on the socials. She was going at Hove, which we talked about,
Yeah.
over the Super Bowl. Here is Steve Stout talking about Nicki Minaj on the podcast, The Pivot.
When people who open up doors as black people get shitted on publicly like that. I just don't like it. I think in that case, what Nicki did was wrong. To bring up Tidal, his streaming company, that he gave you equity in, that you didn't sign the fucking paperwork, and that's the reason why you left millions of dollars on the table. That man didn't do nothing to you. To be talking about somebody who's putting, whether it be Kendrick or Wayne or Drake or Usher, he's putting them on the biggest stage. That's what we should be applauding. That's growth. But the crabs in the barrel thing, oh, not him, fuck him, da 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 da. We can't do that.
Clearly, Steve Stout didn't like it. Made no hesitation in that. He held back no punches, I believe. He clearly said he likes Nicki Minaj. I think we all agree talent-wise and all the things with Nicki Minaj. But come to find out, after Nicki saw that clip, she tweeted this with regard to passing up the $1 million that she could have gotten from having equity in Tidal when Jay-Z sold it. It said she claims that she was rushed into signing something, whatever. I don't know if you guys saw all of this or how you feel about it, but I don't know, Lo, if you want to chime in on this.
she got me blocked, so I didn't see anything.
So you can't see
Okay,
any,
so-
no Nicki. How long you been blocked by Nicki?
8 years?
Wow.
7, 8 years.
Going strong. We'll do something for your 10-year anniversary.
do it.
We
Let's
really should. So she's explaining that this is the root of her issue with Jay, because I felt like Steve Stout. So I know Nicki will go at almost anybody. She doesn't care. But I personally thought, because of her relationship with Jay and Beyonce over the years, she's worked with them both. I thought she had good relationships. I thought Beyonce even sent her like a welcome your baby to the world
So
kind
you
of
were
gift.
shocked to see her going at Jay in that way.
At Jay, I was surprised. I thought maybe something had happened behind the scenes that I wasn't privy to. So is this the
Right.
root of the problem here?
I think
that was my
but
question too. Was this the root of their issue?
I think the root of it was the Super Bowl. Because
No, that can't be the root. But that's
that's when all this started.
That's when she started going at Jay.
Yeah.
But the way she was talking was actually saying that Jay was like disliked her, Wayne, and Drake.
So this makes sense. Like, this is like, if you piece this together, it kind of makes sense.
So the title issue is what started all. Because this would be like me having an issue with Ebro being upset at you, and despite our history, I would just go on the internet and shit on you for no reason without
Unless
talking
there
to
was
you.
something going on
Something
behind the
really
scenes,
deep
yeah.
behind the scenes that had happened.
But then why not say that even prior to? Why not make that an issue prior to all of this that started?
Well, I think she was saying that in her tweets, which was like, y'all don't listen to me. I've been telling y'all that, Jay or these people don't like me or have been working.
But I don't remember her saying this
Yeah.
before, unless I
That's
missed
what I'm
it,
saying.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if we all kept track, but I thought it was, look, I find it I find it very interesting, both what Steve Stout is saying and what Nicki Minaj is saying, just because when Tidal did roll out and they all were there, right? I guess I wasn't pocket watching enough, and y'all know I pocket watch. I'm into that to see who's making money.
Damn, E, you be pocket watching?
Because they rolled out and said they had equity in something, and it got sold, and then I like.
Wait, I feel like he needs to clarify
y'all ain't finna
though.
brag about all the money y'all got, and then go, "Why you pocket watching?" Like,
Yeah, I don't think he's like
brag about the money.
pocket watching rappers and like their chains. He's always talking about, what do you say, following the money, especially when
I
it
just
comes
like
to
following
the music business.
I pocket watch on that.
okay.
Like, oh, y'all did a
Okay.
deal over here. Oh, you got paid over there.
You
All right,
corporate
dope.
pocket
like,
watch.
that type of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was slipping. And so
Okay.
now, hearing this, I was like, oh, people did get paid out from the Tidal thing, right? Like, I didn't know how much, they never disclosed, or at least I didn't see
I don't remember
much.
there being any details. It seems like that all came together kind of rushed. Even like the presentation where they're all on stage, it all looked kind of
Looking like
like put
supervillains?
together. Huh?
You said
Remember that
supervillains?
you don't remember that table? They was all sitting at the table.
No, they
looking
signed.
like,
They signed that little
it was
document. Like
Madonna,
it was like
it was the Daft Punk helmet dudes. It was all them sitting at a table looking like supervillains. Look at the picture, bro. It was post the picture right now.
I mean, look, I'm not Nicki Minaj, so my bank account looks nothing like that. However, I just wanted to make sure to say that if I got asked to show up to an event 10 years ago, how long ago was this?
I think like 12, something like that.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then all I had to do was go on about my business, and then y'all called me and said, hey,
We're selling.
sign this document. We sold it. We got $1 million for you.
I'm signing the document.
I would sign.
Rush me all you want. Here,
How many days? I got hours, minutes?
you got,
like,
yeah, I'll e-sign this shit right now. Like here.
But clearly Nicki didn't feel that way, and so she didn't sign the document. But I think Steve Stout's point about Jay is interesting, because there are people who hold some disdain for Hov, but there are a lot of people, like business people, who are like, nah, he's done great business by me.
You solid.
So but look, I think when you ascend as high as Jay has, there's no way that you're going to make everybody happy.
Yeah, in
I don't see the
that
version.
process, you can't. Everyone's not going to smile in your face. Everyone's not going to agree to the deal. Everyone's not going to like the terms that you said. Like, it's just a thing. Like that. But that's not just with Jay. That's with like NFL team owners, NBA owners.
Yeah, I don't think businessmen are known for their likability.
Yeah, like
You know
they're
what I
not the
mean?
most
It's just-
likable
He
people.
happens to have a
Here's the
huge
thing
public
about contracts.
persona as well.
Here's the thing about contracts. If you've signed a lot, like I have, no one's completely happy.
At all.
That's what a negotiation is.
Right.
Nobody gets everything exactly the way they want it.
Just have to make sure you don't get got.
You just got to make
So
sure
you
you're
got the
getting the
lawyers.
most of what you want
Yeah.
and what's important to you.
Yeah.
Also with Nicki Minaj, though, it's not all negative. Eve has a new book out. Who's That Girl? Eve was being interviewed and talked about finding out Nicki Minaj was in the movie Barbershop. And she says she's lived through what happens when women project their own insecurities onto other women. This is Eve talking. It happened at the start of my career and continued in waves as my fame grew. I wasn't going to be that woman to someone else, but in order to do that, I had to physically and mentally prepare myself. Nicki and I were actually fine on set. We got along well and shot our scenes together with no problems. It was nothing like what I had expected, but again, I am thankful I prepared myself for it. Eve went on to say, I'd see her writing songs on her bus in between takes, hurrying off set to go hit some show dates over the weekend, and then come right back on set for these 12 to 16-hour shoots, all while trying to hold together her personal life and her relationship. It was at that moment that I didn't envy her, and I kind of wanted to give her a hug. I thought I was going to resent her, and really all I felt was compassion. I remembered being that person, the girl who felt like she had to do it all, the girl who was pressured to do it all because it was all eyes on her. Instead of feeling insecure around Nicki, I started to sympathize with her.
Wow.
That was from Eve. And Nicki
Yeah,
responded.
this really brought
Responded.
out the softer side of Nicki, which I hope we could see more often because it's beautiful. So she thanked Eve for sharing such kind words, for her level of grace and emotional and spiritual maturity. So she mentioned, I was one of the kids growing up in New York watching Rough Riders on TV. I definitely remember how when you took the game by storm, that there were some people who couldn't hide their insecurities. And then talking about the movie set, she said, I was so nervous coming onto that movie set every day. You look like a pro and I admired that so much. Thank you for trying to not do to me what was done to you. Women feel so much pressure to compete, and it's a shame because we usually have so much in common and can benefit from one another just as human beings.
So that's dope.
That's dope between the both of them.
Yeah, it's very dope. So, It's, Nicki active on the socials and always a hashtag Gag City, whatever concert tour or city location.
Oh, Gag
she's
City
in.
is the title of her tour.
Is the tour, yes.
Oh, so
Yeah, it was
she'll be
in LA.
so wherever she's.
I don't know if it's the title of the tour or if it's the Pink Friday tour in Gag City. She just always has.
So wherever she's wreaking havoc, she's like Gag City, DC, or Gag City, Vegas.
She's not always wreaking havoc. I think she's showing up to have fun with her fans, bro.
No, I just, sometimes when these
It
things
just sounded
happen.
negative what you were saying. You know how the left side of the couch on this show and the bar.
Very positive, but I'm just saying. Gag
You're blocked.
So she's not going to see this.
No, she's gonna see this. The Barbs will make sure they will clip this.
They'll
up and make
aggregate
sure
it.
She saw it.
Yeah.
Nah, listen, man.
You
Nicki,
gonna be out there
no,
in clips.
let me say this before this goes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll unblock you. Here we go. Here we go.
Let me say this before this goes.
Unlikely.
No, like that was beautiful to read from Nicki, and despite certain things she may have done in her career, I do believe that had she gotten some of the love that Eve had gotten, or some of the compassion, or some of the the fandom that Eve have gotten, I think Nicki might have had a little bit more of a easier transition, more of a more friendlier.
When I interviewed
Nicki didn't get love?
Well, no, Nicki got love,
But it was a lot more pushback.
No, it was different because Eve had the Rough Riders, and D and Y and Swizz and the Rough Riders and DMX protected Eve.
She had no protection.
And Eve talks about this in her book.
Yeah.
Right? Even so much so, like somebody like Jay called Eve when her first album dropped, and this is also in her book, and let her know, like, yo,
It's about to happen.
it's a challenge out here. It's tough for women rappers. And she was thankful for that and took that as like a challenge, like, yo, I better be ready. And it kind of set her thing. So Eve came in the game and the game was just in a different place. I think when Nicki came in the game, she didn't have the level of quote unquote protection, I think.
She had Young Money and Cash Money.
But not to the level of that.
I think the internet created a different level of exposure that artists before that. Like, imagine being a woman artist like Nicki Minaj in 2009 when there was already a lull for women rappers in the game.
Yeah.
You come in the game. Plus, remember, even before she was with Young Money, she had tapes out and she was grinding and dealing with things. So she didn't have someone to ingratiate her and protect her and keep her away from the misogyny we just spoke about and dudes. Look, I remember when Nicki first came out, male DJs are so insecure, they didn't even want to play a woman rapper. That's how bitch made a lot of these DJs are. It's like, I don't want to play this girl song. It's like, grow up, bro. Like, there's girls at the party too, fam. Like, what do you even, that's like a real thing.
I mean, not now.
Well, they ain't got no choice now.
Yeah. At all.
Because the girls done took it over, but Nicki had to usher that in. So as much as, yes, we see Nicki be wildin', but I think a lot of it comes from the place of the damage that took place
prior to
young, very young, in a game that we've seen damage a lot of people.
I'm glad you say that because personally I would like to hear those stories from her. I'm sure a lot of it is very hurtful. It's not things she wants to relive or talk about.
Right,
and the way she expresses it is how a lot of us do when we're hurt. It's like your defense mechanisms come up. But I think it would be beneficial for us as fans, for other female rappers, for men in the industry, for people to hear these stories and we could talk about it. And like, Nicki,
I think the fear, and I see this with all rappers, men and women, in being vulnerable. The fear is the rapper persona
gets taken down.
I'm taking that down. And then y'all are about to use against me.
At some point,
some point, throw in my face.
I would just argue that Nicki's past the stage in her career where I feel like we could use that against her.
Well,
I would say.
Yeah, I think. Look, this last album, when she sat right where y'all are sitting right now and came in here and talked, I could sense how hard it was for her to talk about her father, being a mother, putting that in this last project. Whatever's going on in her personal life, being married, all of that, because there is a fear that I may have to still go. Like, that's the thing about being a rapper. You may still have to go to war one day.
And that piece is going to be used in that war.
Is always the insecure, like, do I want to really give them this? because
I'm still competing.
I feel
I'm
you, but I still think she could be bulletproof in that way. Just because she's actually so good. She's so fucking talented that I think if people tried to spin that against her, she could turn it around. Anyway, look, I love that we're getting all these
Nadeska
great
will be
books
here to
from like
protect you, Nicki.
Kathy.
You know what I'm saying?
What do you?
Nadeska will be here
I'm
like,
being
yo,
serious.
leave my girl alone.
I know. I was
you know
about
what I'm
to
saying?
know. I
Let's
respect
ride
that.
out.
I'm
You
being
would.
serious.
Absolutely.
Kathy Andoli, she wrote the Eve book. Congratulations.
Yeah, Kathy,
like
amazing job.
a lot of
Amazing
great
job.
female journalists out here. Nikki, you should do the bio at some point. Like I think we got to hear those stories.
Before we wrap, I wanted to ask y'all a question. Future just put out mixtape. That's how you feel about it? That's how you feel about it?
Hey, dog. Future Hive they winning. They winning right now.
Well, and as we talk, it's dominating the charts.
Yeah.
Because the answer to your question is yes. Carry on.
So after he dropped this, I was like, wait, hold up, bro. Had 2 projects
Both
that
number
went
one.
number 1 with Metro Boomin.
But tour.
Weeks
The
apart.
tour facilitated, because of like that and that album, the biggest rap battle we've seen in the history of rap. And then dropped another mixtape all in 1 year.
And then he's about to pop out at the Super Bowl probably next year.
No,
I don't know for a fact.
it's
I'm
not.
just saying
Could happen.
that could cap
We
it
don't
off.
know.
Okay.
Who really won 2024? Kendrick won the battle and had the biggest record. No question.
Yeah.
But if we're just for just for shits and giggles, having a conversation about who's gonna win the year as just for fun, did Future win 2024 on the low, like low key, high key, however you want to
Like
look at
real
it?
casually, he did it
Like
too.
super
So
casual.
effortless is why he wins the year.
He didn't win.
Yeah.
But he's winning.
Because it was still on the clock. We're still on the
Because
clock.
Kendrick won on a grander scale, right? There's
A way
if
bigger
Kendrick
scale.
delivers an album in 2024.
The subtleness of Future's success is there, right? Like you said, every accolade you just gave us, right? The tour, the 2 number ones. I think he's debuting at 125 at number 1, so it's his 11th number 1 album, facilitating this big ass rap battle that one of the biggest we've seen in the last 10, 15 years.
the overall influence of
The
Future
overall
throughout the
influence
years.
and impact.
There's so many baby Futures, and they are not doing
But
it
that's
like
before
Future.
2024. That's been a thing for since he's been around.
That's part of sealing the legacy.
Yeah,
right?
that's the legacy part. And when you look at what Kendrick did, Kendrick just made this whole entire thing just about him. Didn't need an album to do it. He did it in so many different ways, in different capacities, and started so many different conversations, which walked him into one of the biggest performances we're gonna see in his career at any point.
The Apple
Now,
Music Super Bowl
Future
halftime
is like
performance.
he said, Future is winning. Future is definitely winning. But with this mixtape, this is no different from what we've heard from him over the last 7, 8 years. Nothing stands out. Nothing's astronomical. The production is solid as fuck.
I don't know, that too fast is
Too fast? No, too fast is
Too fast.
Too
I
fast
like
is crazy.
Ocean go crazy for me.
Ocean's crazy.
But like
Was
when
it
you
Plutowski?
look at those records, like
Plutowski.
when you look at those, Plutowski, I don't know what the fuck that was. But when you look at these records, there's nothing on there. It's just like, yo, this man really just put his foot in this shit. It's continuing to step on the gas. It's a solid project. Do not get me wrong. And this is not me hating on him. But there's nothing on that project that says, yeah, this owned the year.
For me, it's not this project as much as it's the totality of the year.
Yeah.
Like we're talking, bro.
I get that, but I don't think this project does that.
I think everything you're
pushes it
saying is
out of- I don't think it
Motherfuckers
does.
forget how big them Future Metro Boomin albums were this year, bro.
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm
Yo,
saying.
them albums dominated, dog.
I'm not saying that.
They
That's
were the
not what I'm
biggest
saying.
albums of the year in hip hop.
Those 2 albums, yes, they were. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't think Mixtape Pluto puts him in a category of saying he won 2024. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that project is that good
The
for him
only
to say
person
that.
that's on his heels, if we're talking about all the bodies of work, like Kendrick did songs, okay?
Yeah.
Won a battle, had the biggest song moment.
Yeah.
Is gonna go on to have another big moment.
Right.
Projects though, Future had 3 projects and moments. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to pose a question. Clearly, the clock's still ticking. It's only
of
late
course.
September. You know what I'm saying? Because Kendrick delivers a full body of work.
Conversations are going to change. Possibly.
What was Nadeska? What was you about to say?
I mean, just to sum it up, I agree with Ebro. I feel like Kendrick is clearly number one, but like Future's always been on some like cult hero status shit. And I feel like this way that he became the catalyst for this biggest battle ever, dropped those 2 albums, came back with the mixtape. It just, the way he does it so effortless is sick if you really think about it. He would
He's a
easily be
workaholic,
number 2
yeah.
for the year.
He's just a workaholic.
Lowe's just trying to like put a lot of like reason and a lot of like words
No,
into
I'm like,
it and explain and
I'm
like
agreeing,
dissect.
though.
It just feels like some cult hero status shit.
But I'm agreeing with you. You say he does it effortlessly. He's a workaholic. So this is not surprising
Don't
him
try to
dropping.
agree with her now, because
I still feel the same way about the project not being that good.
Man. For
Man.
Low and Eddie and Nadeska, I'm Ebro.
So I don't
Man,
agree with
thanks for
everybody, my
tuning in,
fault.
man.
What's good? Nadeska here. If you made it through that entire episode of the Rap Life Review, that means you're really a fan. Hit that like button so we know it's real. Subscribe if you never want to miss an episode. And of course, if you really have something to say, drop a comment and we'll hit you back on next week's episode.